Okay, cool. Cory,
What's up?
what is up, dude? You want to intro yourself for everyone who
Uh,
don't know Cory? You do you.
yeah, my name is Cory Connors. I currently live in Montreal, Quebec. I work for the government for the youth protection as a security guard, as an intervention agent. I also referee basketball all across Quebec and Canada itself. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's lit.
That's really
That's lit.
cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, you're so like. I mean, there's that, and then some, because you're just like a comedian. I feel like just a personality. It's like
Yes,
it's
I have a
so. I
side
don't
of
know.
them if I do.
Yes, but yeah, Bella, you could go ahead with the first question.
Okay. How did you get into basketball and what position do you play?
I don't necessarily play basketball anymore. I used to play. I used to play for Vanier College as a shooting guard. And then as I started in 2014 as a referee. So now I currently referee basketball at a collegiate level, Division 2 at the moment. So yeah, that's what I do now.
That's lit,
Cool.
dude.
Yeah,
But yeah, okay. So you did play basketball at one point in time.
yeah, I did.
I
I
bet
played from 2014 to 2017.
that's
Okay,
okay.
cool.
Cool. What position or positions did you play?
I played the shooting guard position. So I was a secondary ball handler. And I was playing for the Vanier Cheetahs at Division 2 for the
I
division.
bet. Yo, Vanya gang, like do it. Like West Island gang for sure. Okay, cool. And like so that was the highest, like that's the level you played at. How was that for you? Did like it was a good time?
Uh,
You enjoyed it?
At the
Challenging?
time, I was a young player, right? So I wasn't really necessarily familiar with the politics that happen. You know, in every sport, every sport
Right.
there's a different type of policies and stuff like that. So it
Yeah.
took a while for me to get accustomed. I didn't get to play as much as I wish, but
Yeah.
that's part of the growing pains when you join
Yeah.
a team like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that is one of the highest levels I played at. So, but it was a good learning curve for me. So I applied those skill sets that I learned playing at Division 2 level to the everyday life. You know what I mean? So that's what ended up working out for
How
me.
so like specifically?
So basically dealing with that type of adversity, not being able to, like, when you as a player think that you're adequate enough to play on the court and you don't, like, that's the type of hardship that you have to deal with. You know, how do you deal with it? Do you look at it negatively, saying, oh, why me, why am I being penalized? Or do you look as motivation? Okay, I'll give them reason for me to play. Unfortunately, in my case, I was more like, I pity myself at the time, and
Mhm.
it was more frustrating. It pushed me to almost the point of quitting multiple times, but I stuck through it. I ended up playing the 3 years and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I think it was a good experience, because I would have regretted it. If I did quit at the time, I would have regretted it, because now I would never be able to apply those things I learned at the time to now. So like dealing with not being able to play when you want to play, knowing, having to submit your role, like when you think you could play a bigger role and you have to play a smaller role, like just knowing yourself and your self-worth. So all those things combined made me the person I am today. So that's what I could say for
I
that.
love that. I love
Mhm.
that so
Yeah.
much.
And what
Honestly,
got you into basketball? Sorry, I cut you off, Chris.
you know.
No problem. What got me into basketball? Actually, I started basketball late. So what, I'm 25 now. I started playing, maybe I could say seriously, or maybe around 13 or 14. My best friend, my good longtime friend Jordan, I saw him playing basketball at like a intercity level and a competitive level, and I always wanted to play at that kind of level. But since I started late, it took a little while for me to get my skill set up to par to compared to everyone else. So it took a little longer, but otherwise, I saw all my friends were playing basketball. I liked it, and it just allowed me to clear my head and just forget about everything in those 45 minutes of playing. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Definitely.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Okay, so you said you started late, but it's like what's late? Because like I mean later in life I understand, but it's like I don't
Well,
know if
usually,
you like it regardless of
yeah,
the
that's
age,
true.
right?
Well, if you're talking about wanting to play a competitive level, you would
Yeah.
want to start as early as I would say
Right.
5, if
Yeah.
not 3. I mean, just learning how to dribble the ball,
Yeah,
pass,
for
and all
sure.
the basic stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So for me, starting at age 14, and everyone's at my age has already surpassed the
Right.
level that I'm already starting at. Like, tick- you're playing catch up. But
Right. Did you play sports before that?
yeah, I didn't play on any professional team, but like I was always an active kid, right? So I was
Right.
playing football, soccer, playing the field, track and field. I was doing all types of things. You know what I mean, even in high school, I was on the football team, the track star team, and all that stuff. I got athlete of the year when I graduated. So yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah, it
Which
was a
school?
great
Which
experience.
it was high school?
Riverdale High School. It's closed now, but
Right,
yeah.
right. Shout out
That's fun.
Riverdale. RIP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out Riverdale.
Yeah. That's good. Cool, cool, cool. And how did for other player going to a referee, like obviously it's a whole different perspective. Like what was that like for you? You were just like, damn. Like
To be honest, it is a different perspective, but I felt like it was more of an advantage for me because me being a player, I know what player tendencies can be like. So having that knowledge already and applying it to me being a referee, like it became very useful because now when I see players are getting frustrated or they're not, or they're acting a particular way, I could sympathize with them because I understand where they're coming from. You know what I mean? So when I speak to them, I have a way of reasoning with them to understand where I'm coming from as an official, because we're trained to officiate a game in a particular way compared to, and players are trained in a particular way how to play the game, right? So like
right.
it goes hand in hand, you know what I mean? So obviously I had my fair share where people weren't too fond of my calls and stuff like that, but that's part of the game, like not everyone's gonna like or appreciate your calls you make, but
Oh,
that's
for
life
sure.
itself,
You have
right?
the parents
Definitely.
like, yo, ref, bad call. My kid didn't do this.
Yes,
You have the coaches, like whatever. You
yes.
have the kids
And
on kids. Like it's like crazy, dude. I played water polo for over 10 years. I played like soccer. Anyways, like my parents, there were those parents that were like, yo, send my kid, like, what are you doing? My kid didn't do that. They don't get a penalty. I'm like, yo, it's like the
yeah, and
rest
sometimes
is
it's even harder too at
yeah,
times when, especially when coaches know you and players know you,
yeah,
and you start to develop this type of relationship or this ambiance about yourself and how you carry yourself on the court. It goes a long way, right? So the way we interact with our coaches and players, it says a lot. Like you could be a referee that pays no mind to that, and you just go in, ref the game, and leave. But
right.
if you build a relationship with these people and you take the time to explain where you're coming from, it
Yeah,
translates well sometimes.
for
So
sure.
I take time into explaining my calls and stuff like that. Even after games, parents have met me outside the game, sometimes not in the greatest mood and just want to express their concerns. And I'll take the extra time to explain where I'm coming from. And sometimes they agree with me, sometimes they don't. But at the end of the day, I will take the time to explain where I'm coming from because I think it's worth it. I think because not every parent is out there to protect their kid,
For
and so are the
sure.
coaches. And I totally get that. I understand that, and it can be frustrating at times where you feel like a game need to be officiated in a particular way, and you're not meeting up to their standards. But you can't please everyone. All you can do is the best which you can in your capabilities, right? So
Yeah,
that's how it goes for me.
for sure. Have you ever had a parent like heckle you or like after the game, like,
Oh,
yo,
time
what's
to time.
good? Like what do
Yeah.
you have any like particular experience like where you were like, yo, like
So when I first started taking refereeing serious, it was maybe my rookie year or sophomore year, I would say. I was refereeing an adult league. So
okay, nice.
so to when you want to take refereeing serious, sometimes you need to be put in hostile environments so you can know how to adjust them when later on in your career, right? So I was refereeing an adult league, and these are full grown men that used to play university ball or overseas or wherever the case may be. So they're seasoned. They have an understanding of the game, and I'm here, this 18, 19-year-old kid, just trying to figure out the ins and outs of the game. And one guy was just not happy with the calls I'm making, and then he just met me outside in the parking lot and was just, yeah, and just it went south from there. But at the end of the day, like there's not much I can do that can change that. You know what I mean? Like obviously I'm not gonna
Yeah.
counter myself into a fight, even though it could be intriguing at times. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really phase me. To be honest, those adult leagues have helped me be more of a patient, more understanding referee when it comes to intense situations like that. So yeah, I've had a few of those. I had parents meet me outside. I have parents heckle me during the game, halftime, all you name it. I've been called the N-word. They have insulted my mother. They have said all types of things. So I've heard my fair share.
Wild, dude. That's
Yeah.
well, go off, sir, because you're clearly very mature and very like adequate at your job for you to not like. I don't know. I feel like I've seen refs. I've seen like even in like the NFL level, like through like in person and on TV, just because I love watching football live and in TV. But it's like you see these refs and they like sometimes they go off and the coaches go off and I'm like, you're on camera, like you're being watched right now.
Yeah, so and sometimes parents forget like we're here for the kids, right? Like
Yeah.
we want to set an example for the kids. So it wouldn't do no justice by me just seeping down to the parents level by using profanity and all that stuff. So like it's not going to do anything better, to be honest. It's just going to make the situation worsen or just go south from there. So my job is to reason, to apply the rules of what I know, apply it based on my interpretation and go from there. And if the parents still don't understand, then like I said, they could always search up the rules themselves, because sometimes parents think they know it all, but like again, like it's just is what it is. Sometimes you just take it as you go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bella, do you want to go ahead with the next question?
Oh yeah, sure. Would you see yourself doing anything else in life, or is like this is what you're with?
To be honest, I see myself doing refereeing basketball because that's where my heart lies. I'm truly passionate about it. I gives me the time to invest in the community, because like some games I don't always get paid for. Sometimes I'll volunteer my time and go referee a game, and it gets the time to connect with the kids, right? And just showing my passion, I hope to inspire other people. So that's why I rather invest my time, devote my time into that. And maybe because it's genuine, it's not artificial, it's not because I'm getting paid. Yes, I do get paid to referee, but like that's not my main cause. My main cause is just because I love the game so much, I'm willing to contribute whatever it takes.
That's awesome.
Love that so much, honestly. And we know you are an ambassador for Renaissance Era, which is so awesome. How did that like come to fruition? How'd you go about that? Were you just with them or vice versa?
My friend Tomal Simpson is actually the co-founder of the Renaissance Era, and he asked me to be a part of it to help bring the Montreal community together by creating different activities, fundraisers, and tournaments and stuff like that. So I said, why not? Like, it's a great way to bring everyone together, especially in this difficult time, especially with COVID and racism all over the world and stuff like that. So I find he brought up a good point. He says Montreal is so based on trends and what's trending and stuff like that. And like and I feel like, and he's like, I feel like Montreal is so quick to put other people down what they do in Montreal, and that we never big up the people that do the things they do in Montreal, right? We're so quick to encourage other places like Toronto artists or UK artists or whatever the case may be and what genre they do. So he's like, I want to create a platform where we can bring Montreal artists, whether it's music, basketball, being an artist and painting or whatnot, just bring them together. So just creating all different types of platforms to bring them together in this Montreal community.
I love that. Honestly,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Just because obviously, like I agree with you. Like it's the trend. It's the hashtag BLM. It's the like change now, whatever. Like like people are like when there was all the protests and everything, like in the spring and summer, it was like everyone's out, like a lot of everyone was like yeah, like Breonna Taylor, just like no justice, no peace, and it's like where are y'all at now?
Yeah, exactly. Like people forget like Black Lives Matter is not just a trend, it's actual life movement. It's an ongoing process, you know what I mean? So people who just do it because everyone else is doing it, let me show my face and just say Black Lives Matter, but like how much does Black Lives Matter mean to you? I'm not saying that you have to parade it like everywhere, but like you need to just show some type of support, and that the support goes a long way. So the fact that like it's not really spoke about much now because nothing's happening, but like there's so much happening behind the doors that we don't even know about, right? So it's just
like
yeah.
even the whole, like I assume you heard about like the whole like kind of like I took offense to it too, just because like I'm Greek, like I'm half Greek, so I use like hair products that are not mainstream, like they're catered to my hair, and the whole thing like with Jean Kitsu and with Unipri that had happened.
I saw that incident. It's kind of hard to comment on that because I wasn't there per se. I don't we only see what's being shown, right? We don't see the before or the aftermath. So based on what's happening in that video, precisely, like at the end of the day, I kind of understand where the manager's coming from because she's doing what's being told by the government. And I understand where the Black client is trying to find particular hair product that suit her hairstyle, and it's not, and she's not able to meet her standards. So
Right.
it's a very complex, difficult situation. So the fact that like it's like that, it just opens up the question to saying, why is this not available for us? But this is available for everyone else. So do we want to go first direct, say, oh, this is racism? That's like when you in a spot like that, you don't really get much room to sympathize with anything else. So it becomes a difficult situation. So for that, I just find like that should be available to everyone. Like if that's how our hair grows and that's the products that we need for it to grow, like why is it not available for us? But that's a particular product is available for you guys. So it's just a question of where do you draw the line? You know what I
Definitely.
mean? So if I don't understand how candy could be essential, but
Right.
that particular product for us is not essential.
No, it's ludicrous. Honestly, like it's literally like dumb because like I literally like, and I literally for like I was just roaming like, because it sounds like sus, but I was roaming the streets. No, I was doing like adult activities, like just like running errands, like, and I was like, I forgot, and I walked in. I'm like, yo, I need like what did I need like. I basically like for makeup and stuff, I use like organic only because I had like super sensitive skin and like hair and everything. And like I forgot, and I was like, yo, oh my god, the whole thing's closed off. And this woman, my French is my third language, and so anyways, and she was like, I don't speak English, and I was like, okay. And then she was like, yeah, it's like closed off. And I'm like, you know what? I literally forgot. Like, it took me a second, but I forgot. Like, you know, just like you're in your like your head and you're thinking about
So
stuff you have to do and you forget it's COVID and you forget everything and you're just like, oh. And then I'm like, this is dumb. And then I'm like, you know what? This is literally like, I'm gonna like I wasn't gonna pull a Karen, but I was like, you know what? I went to see the manager because I was buying stuff anyways, and she was at the cash, and I know this like Jean Katsu because it's near my place in Verdun. And I'm just like, you know, this is like I was like, it's systemic. It's I understand it's the government telling you, but also like check yourself a little. But also there's
the
nothing they can
government,
like it's the employee.
yeah, the government is only going to list what's available to people, what they think is essential and what they think is
But
important. But they're not like they're not sympathizing with other people and how that could affect them. You know what I mean?
sure, even
Like I
like doctor
understand
stores. How is that not
it,
essential?
to be honest, limiting what's not essential. If you already have a lockdown between 8 and 5 a.m., to me, I think you should just leave everything open from
Exactly.
5 a.m. to 8 p.m. and then everything is just locked down. So, but
Either way.
cutting off, oh, this is not essential. This is not that process, that ideology of thinking like that. It doesn't make sense to me. But hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
c'est la vie.
No, for sure.
Definitely.
Like in terms of so you said like you carried a lot of like you know the skills that you got from being like a player in a ref that kind of catered towards like real life and like specifically do you have any like I don't know just
I
like
feel
skills
like
here?
so being a so translating from a player into referee, I learned to develop more patience with people
Right.
and to watch what I say, because what I say can be interpreted completely differently, and I've learned that self and the things I do off the court also plays into a factor. So you always have to carry yourself in a particular way, you know what I mean? Because everyone's watching, everyone's going to recognize you as that referee, especially if you end up becoming good at what you do. People are going to take notice into that. So it carries a lot of weight and responsibility because people are now going to be looking up to you, look forward to seeing you, or whatever the case may be, and you still got to hold that stature of responsibility and maturity and be able to be patient with other people, especially coaches, players, and parents, especially parents. So that's what really resonates with me, is being patient and sympathizing.
Fair enough. Yeah, like I don't know, just the Corey energy. I just we love to see it for sure. No, honestly, like we, you know, it was like finding people like for season 3 like to interview, and I was just like, okay, who's like I don't know, because I met you and I met Tashana and like some other dope people through Zoom, and like that was such a entertaining, fun experience when it
It
was like
was.
nothing was open.
It really was. Like I picked you guys' brain, and I learned different perspective, and I'm open-minded to them. So it's
No,
intriguing to learn.
for real. Like we agreed on a lot of stuff, and everyone was like, "Y'all get out," and I'm
Especially Sheila believing whatever she believes about Quebec,
right.
and you know what I
No,
mean.
but
Like,
I remember like something that stuck out to me where like I can't stand people that are uncultured, and I'm like,
no, it's true. I feel like are if your background is from that particular area in the world, I feel like it's important to learn that and
right,
to carry on that tradition. That's you don't have to carry on the beliefs and everything or the religious beliefs and whatnot, but I feel like it's important to yourself. You owe it to yourself to learn about your culture and where you come from. Especially for me as a young black man living in Canada, like there's so much that goes on in the world that I should be able to know about myself and where I come from. So I send kudos to my mom and my grandparents for really taking the time to make sure I was cultured. I know my black history. I know what was all about slavery. I know how America was built off of slavery and stuff like that. So it's important. So I
for
feel
sure.
like
What is your
everyone should.
ethnic backgrounds, by the way? What are
So
they?
my mom is from Barbados and my dad is from Guyana.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. So you're like first generation.
No, I'm born in Canada, but so I'm more or less I'm second generation, if that's correct. Don't quote me on that.
I think
So my
it's
parents
first.
are born
Yeah,
there, but I'm here.
yeah, I think
Okay.
that's first. Yeah,
That's first? Okay, yeah. So then there you have it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. That's lit. Awesome, dude. Yeah. But yeah, getting into like for me, I feel like everyone's like, yo, just because I'm plus size or a person of color or like just origin from this ethnicity or nationality doesn't mean like I'm a role model. Like so like from what like we've gathered, I feel like you're like, yo, I would love to be a role model and be an
Mm.
ambassador. And it's like it's so commendable. And it's like, do you have I don't know any words of wisdom for the youth of today, or as Cyrus like shout out Cyrus, the youth. Um,
The
like
youth.
for just people of color, people like just men, women, um, everybody. I guess just getting into their craft or their sport and like just being wanting to be the best version of themselves. Like just whether that's like like a regular like collegiate athlete or pro athlete or coach or ref. Like, do you have anything to say
Right?
to those kids?
Um, if you really truly believe in something and
Yeah,
you're truly passionate about it, go all in because that's all the time. This is the time now to do it because you don't want to look back 40 years from now and say, oh, I wish I'd done this. You know what I mean? I used to love fishing, but I don't go fishing no more. Like if you
yeah,
love fishing, you find the time, you devote your time and go out and do that.
for
So
sure.
for me, like I make sure I schedule my work around my passion. So my passion first, work is second. My work supports my passion, so I'm able to do that. So that's how much time I'm able to devote to it because it means that much to me. So advice to the younger generation is like, don't be discouraged. Oh, because just because you think everyone thinks that what you like is not cool, who cares what other people think? If that's what you like to do, go out and do it because there's no other time to do it now. Maybe not now because of COVID, but when things open back up, go for it. No
Nah,
time to waste.
nah, definitely.
Definitely.
110%. But yeah, no. Bella, do you have any other questions you want to ask?
Well, oh yeah, sure. Do you find like being a man of color that it impacted you in some way to where you are now?
Um, in what sense?
I guess
Like,
in like all of it, like in like I don't know,
Like how
how
like I guess the adversity that comes with like
with it,
systemic
yeah.
racism,
yeah,
racism.
I think that plays in a factor. I feel like I owe it to myself being a man of color that I need to hold myself to a higher standard and to set example. I mean, because there's always this negative stigma against us that we're we're street thugs or we just want to be rappers or we're like we're not educated. There's always these not they might not say it out loud because they're not allowed now. So it'll be institutionalized to divide us. So if I could beat the odds and set myself to a higher standard, then I'm just being another role model. And that's inspiring to others. If people look at that as inspiration, then I would love to be it. So yeah, I think being a man of color does have something to do with it because I owe it to myself and I owe it to the people that have been stuck behind me.
Definitely.
I'd love to hear that, honestly. For the shirt that you endorsed, for the brand, was that, did you choose the specific?
Yeah, I chose, well, me and my coworker, my colleagues, we just
Yeah.
came up with ideas, messages I think that resonate to us individually and think that would resonate to other people. And we
Yeah.
put on the shirts to help promote those messages.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we were like, I don't know, being like, I went to I guess it was the second, um, like protest, and like, let me tell you, like, I did not have I screamed so loud, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, next time I'm bringing a blowhorn, and I'm like, I'm weird.
Yeah.
I like to
You want-
protest
you
for
want-
things that believe,
exactly.
but like I feel like, I don't know, it's really awesome. Like, and I remember like, this was a while ago. I was trying to order a shirt from Renaissance, and like they were like, "Yo, only PayPal," and I was like, "I don't have PayPal. My PayPal is wild." And I was like, you know what? Let me just like figure something out. But either way, like, we thank you so much for your time. Honestly, like, thank you for doing this, and like, we'll let you know, obviously, when we post in like the promotion and everything, and it's gonna be awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having
Yes,
me.
thank you so much. It was great meeting you.
It's me too.
And have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.